Good day, everybody. In this video marks a milestone of sorts for me. This is video number 150 for me on YouTube. And for this video, wanted to look back at something that's been really a big part of my life, even though I grew up in the Sports Center, sports highlights generation, and that is newspapers. And one thing I used to look at all the time with newspapers were box scores of baseball games, like you can kind of see here. And these, believe it or not, are from just last year, 2025. And I'm showing you this because it's also a keepsake for Golden. It's a souvenir for when Golden Baseball won the state title last late spring. As the story goes, there you see the guy who wrote it in the picture of Dayton Svensson holding the trophy with the teammates next to him. So that's my souvenir of Golden Baseball winning the state championship. I wanted to get a souvenir newspaper of when Dakota Ridge football won state about 2 months before the filming of this video, but of course they were sold out of newspapers. Lots of people wanted to get them. And then at an estate sale I worked, I mentioned I actually did something other than announcing a couple weeks ago. I worked at an estate sale, and I was able to pick up some old newspapers there. This one, the Mile High Salute, is a story about the original Mile High Stadium in Denver, which didn't just host Bronco games. It hosted Denver Bears and Zephyrs minor league baseball, big boxing matches, Colorado Rapids soccer games. And while most people understandably connect the Colorado Rockies with Coors Field these days, Old Mile High Stadium was the first stadium to host the Rockies. And Mile High Stadium also had concerts and many big events. This is a newspaper remembering Mile High Stadium a week before it hosted its last Denver Broncos game. And the date on it, let me find that here. Here we go. The date on it's December 17th, 2000. The Broncos' last game, a win over the San Francisco 49ers, was 6 days later, December 23rd, 2000. Funny thing, Broncos moved to a new stadium, and now they're looking like they're about 5 years or so from moving into yet another new stadium. Funny how that goes sometimes. And then there's this newspaper, the Rocky Mountain News. Nixon resigns. Still the one and only president, one and only sitting president to ever resign during his term. Richard Nixon did that in 1974. There's the date there. Hard to believe that was over 50 years ago, but after his involvement in the Watergate scandal, the break-in of at a Democratic office in 1972, Nixon, after finding out he would be in big trouble, decided to just move on. And here is a newspaper commemorating that. I haven't really had a chance to go through it yet, but I'm fortunate to have this. And then one more paper I got at this estate sale. Take a look at the date, September 12th, 2001. And you see the weather forecast, sunny and warm that day in Denver, but obviously it was not a warm time, as you see these images, plane flying into the Trade Center and in New York, and the explosions afterward. I'm not sharing this to be a downer or anything, just what those pictures and what the newspaper captured, what the Denver Post was able to put on its page, and the lingering images from that horrible day of September 11th, the date of this paper, like I said, September 12th, and September 11th, when literally thousands of innocent people died, not only in New York, but Washington, D.C., and then the grounding of an airplane in Pennsylvania that thwarted another attack. Horrible time, and certainly not the first time nor the last time. A warm day outside weather-wise was not a warm day for me, and September 11th, a big part of it. And if someone ever asks me why September 11th made me so sad, like some knucklehead did 5 months afterward, well, look at these images. That should say all that needs to be known. And the emergency workers, you're a worker helping somebody out of the Trade Center, just difficult. And then I flip it to the sports page. Of course I do that, but look at that headline. Attack shut down sports world. Baseball put on hold, and it wouldn't resume until 6 days after the attack. The NFL wouldn't resume till a week later. Actually about 2 weeks after the attacks. And the same thing with most of college football. Just tough time with all the losses of life. Thanks to terrorists. And what'll be 25 years ago this September 11th, 2001, and the Denver Post captured it like good newspapers did the very next day. I still have a soft spot for newspapers. I actually used to write for a couple of weekly ones, the Columbine Courier and Mile High newspapers, and still have friends from that era to this day. I liked looking, I showed you box scores earlier, and I'll go back to that just because it was a way, because back when I was a kid, I didn't get to watch every baseball game like I get to now. And I didn't get to stay up way late either, so this was a way to find out what happened. Looking at the newspaper to see how games went. And it is sad to see newspapers fading away. The Rocky Mountain News, in fact, shut down all the way back in 2009 after almost exactly 150 years in business. And I guess I sort of understand with cell phones and updates coming at about a second's notice, as opposed to 12 hours or so notice, more or less, with newspapers. They're maybe not always 12 hours, but certainly hours after the fact. Still just tough to see newspapers fading away, but they're not completely dead yet. Denver Post is still going, and I do have this souvenir of Golden Baseball winning the state last spring because of it. And the souvenir newspapers I just showed you too, commemorating big events, the end of Mile High Stadium in Denver, and, of course, the much bigger events, Richard Nixon resigning as president in September 11th, 2001. So anyway, that's my thought for the day on newspapers, and thanks to all of you for watching my 150th video. Thanks for your support on my YouTube channel, and for keeping it going. Certainly without you, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you soon. As I conclude video 150, I say take care, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day.